I'm most comfortable on stage than any place in the world. Being around, everyday people and stuff, I feel strange. I do.
Before Michael Jackson went from a childhood star to music superstar, mesmerizing millions with his moonwalk. Before he took home 13 Grammys, 26 AMAs, 40 Billboard Awards, 6 BRIT Awards, and set 38 Guinness World Records.
I realized I had a lot of love to share from my soul. The black tradition is a tradition of soul.
Before Liz Tyler would crown Michael Jackson the king of pop, and he would be praised for breaking down racial barriers and go on to shake the hands of presidents, queens, sheiks, princesses, and even pharaohs. Okay, the last one, kinda. Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch became a hotbed of scandal in the midst of his child molestation charges, fueling his drug addiction and obsession with plastic surgery.
There was one night I stood in there, I asked him if I could stay in the bedroom, and he let me stay in the bedroom, and I was like, Michael, you can sleep on the bed. And he was like, no, you sleep on the bed, sleep on the bed. We're like, no.
Oh yeah, and now that we're talking about scandal, there was also this. Before he turned into a cultural novelty with action figures, Halloween costumes, and Disneyland attractions, bringing his overall net worth to $600 million. Michael Jackson was a sensitive kid raised with his 10 siblings under the relentless discipline of his father. Determined to make performers of them all, the Jackson 5 quickly began touring and Michael became a global star at the age of just 10. Every album he released broke critical and commercial records, making him the most successful performer of all time. But 4 decades under a spotlight certainly took its toll, and Michael's behavior got stranger and stranger as he tried to recreate the childhood he never had. What's going on, guys? My name is Michael McCrudden, looking at the life and legacy of Michael Jackson prior to his death, here for you on Before They're Famous. Now this video is actually an updated version. Let's take a look at the original. His father was relentless, pushing his children to perform and would often whip Michael. Yeah! This show has come a long way. Now Michael Jackson's life and career had a huge impact on the world, and I'm happy the man is now getting an updated bio here on Before They're Famous. I remember when he passed away, I was driving in Dublin, Ireland. Where were you guys when you heard the tragic news? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Also feel free to leave your condolences. Now let's roll that intro. Joseph Jackson was born on August 28, 1958 in Gary, Indiana. He was the 8th of 10 children living in this small 2-bedroom home. His mother Catherine was a Jehovah's Witness who worked at Sears to support the family, while his father Joseph, or Joe, was a crane operator who used to be a boxer. Growing up, Michael and his siblings would come to learn that his dad still packed quite the punch.
We were terrified of him. Terrified. I can't tell you. I don't think he realizes to this day how scared.
Joe forced Michael and his siblings to rehearse dance moves constantly, beating them with a belt if they made any mistakes. If it wasn't physical abuse, Joe Jackson would verbally and mentally manipulate his children. For instance, he would tease Michael about the shape of his nose. In 1964, Michael joined his older brothers in the Jackson 5 and began his life on the stage. Michael was only 10 when he was crowned a child prodigy who was mature beyond his years and praised for music that could break down racial barriers. Remember, we're talking about this band blowing up the same year Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered, and there were urban riots happening all over the nation. Little Michael Jackson was a ray of hope for equal opportunity.
Most of the time, she do our schooling most of the time when we're on the road.
Mm-hmm. Your father and mother go with it?
This is my father.
Over the years, Michael was robbed of any chance at a normal childhood and grew into a teen idol and sex symbol. Off the Wall was released in '79 and proved Michael to be one of the top solo performers there ever was. He was the Justin Bieber back in the day. Even cooler. He was only 21 when he got his first taste of plastic surgery after breaking his nose while rehearsing a difficult dance number. He underwent 2 nose jobs to fix it, then in 1982 released the best-selling album of all time. We're talking Thriller! Which held the #1 spot on the Billboard 200 for over 9 months. And it also came with a 14-minute music video that helped catapult a little channel called MTV to the masses. This year, Michael reunited with his brothers and made history when he unveiled his signature look and dance move that would forever define him as the king of pop. After Michael would suffer second-degree burns while filming a commercial for Pepsi, and he decided to go under the knife again. In fact, he was becoming obsessive about plastic surgery. The next years, Michael would continue to fixate on his appearance, slimming his nose, nose and trying to hide the face he'd been teased about by his dad as a child. He also had lost a ton of weight trying to attain a dancer's body. On top of all this, his skin color was becoming paler and paler due to treatments for his skin condition known as vitiligo. Michael's radical transformation made him the target of tabloids, vicious rumors, and ridicule. He was titled Wacko Jacko by the press. Some of his crazier episodes include him buying a chimp named Bubbles and sleeping in an oxygen chamber to slow down the aging process. If you're curious what happened to Bubbles, well, let's take a look.
Meet Bubbles. Other than Tarzan's cheetah, he may be the most famous chimpanzee in the world. 25 years ago, he was Michael Jackson's pet.
These forms of therapy didn't give Michael the peace he was so desperately in search of, and his years in the spotlight had clearly began to take their toll.
Running and hiding, I can't take a walk in the park, I can't go to the store, I have to hide in a room. You feel like you're in prison.
In 1988, Michael began building his Neverland Ranch, the $17 million fantasy world which had a theater, a zoo, an amusement park, and 40 security guards patrolling the grounds. With Jackson acting as the land's Peter Pan, it gave the star a chance to live out the childhood he never had.
You're awesome.
I think you're awesome too, Cartman.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It was during this time that Michael also became good friends with child star Macaulay Culkin, but seeing the grown man spend so much time with young boys in Neverland raised a whole lot of eyebrows. And well, kind of for good reason. Within the next year, Michael was facing his first child sex abuse allegations.
To your knowledge, were you ever accused of having sexually molested Macaulay?
The Chandler family had accused Michael of fondling their 13-year-old son, and they demanded money from him. The police ended up raiding Michael's home, they strip searched him, and the kid even ended up giving a detailed description of Michael Jackson's junk. Ugh, wonder what color that was. During this trying time, Michael found comfort in a new friend, daughter of Elvis, Lisa Marie Presley. The two were married in secret, making Lisa not only the princess of rock, but the queen of pop. The marriage held together for 2 years before they divorced, but Michael found a new woman immediately after whom to marry. She was his friend, a fan, and a nurse at the dermatologist office that he would frequent. The woman was Deborah Rowe, and she told Michael right out the gate that she would bear his children. Together the two had 2 children together, and Michael received full custody when they divorced in 1999. Michael would later opt for a 3rd child from a mystery surrogate mother, and this child he would name Blanket. And the world one day, well, they would get to meet Blanket in a very strange way. All of a sudden, the term Wacko Jacko was being thrown around again, and MJ had made his way back into the front of every tabloid and newspaper. In 2003, he received more accusations of child abuse from several families, and this time Michael was arrested. He was once again found not guilty, but the damage to his name was irreplaceable. Also, this mugshot was taken, and this is not a good look for Michael. Everyone's like, oh my god, it's like a Halloween costume. From there, Jackson had to leave Neverland Ranch and laid low for several years. Then in March of 2009, he announced a series of comeback concerts called This Is It. This was intended to be Michael's last hurrah, and an additional 50 shows were added to the schedule when the concert sold over 2 million tickets in just 2 hours. That's 140 tickets a second. Crazy. Also good business. Word has it at the time that Michael, well, he was deep in debt. With the much anticipated show approaching, it seemed like Michael's image was finally going to get the revamp it needed. Sadly, weeks before the big day, Michael suffered cardiac arrest while in his bed. He died on June 25, 2009 from an overdose of propofol, aka milk of amnesia. Abusing prescription pills for decades, and that along with the increasing stress from his upcoming show, it had certainly taken its toll. His doctor, Mr. Conrad Murray, was later charged with involuntary manslaughter. News of Jackson's sudden death nearly broke the internet. The rush of traffic to Twitter, Wikipedia, Google, TMZ, and AOL Messenger crashed all their sites. Channels shelved original programming to air marathons of the man's work. A lottery was set up where they selected a few thousand fans to attend the ceremony, and his memorial broadcast was watched by over 31 million people, putting his funeral amongst the ranks of Princess Diana and President Reagan. Following his death, Michael's legacy continued to grow. His earnings, they skyrocketed, and he continues to be the wealthiest dead celebrity since his passing 7 years ago, taking home $115 million a year. And the rest of the story, well, it lives on in his incredible legacy. If you want to know more about it, perhaps we'll make an after they're famous. But this right here, well, this was before they were dead. My name is Mike McCrudden, thanks for checking out this channel. This video took a lot out of me. I'm sweating buckets. But hey, it's Michael Jackson. We had to do an update, and what an incredible story it is. Be sure to let me know, as always, in the comments down below who you want to hear about next. Jimi Hendrix, I know that's one we're working on. We recently did Jim Morrison, but we've done Elvis and Marilyn Monroe and other icons like that. Let me know, as always, who's next down below, and I'm gonna go take a nap or shower, because it was a lot of work.